I never thought an email would be the thing that shattered my marriage. It was just sitting there in Sam's inbox when I used his laptop to print some documents for work, a message from the hiring committee at his office. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. The first line said everything. "We regret to inform you." My name is Alara, and until that moment, I thought I had a pretty good handle on my life. Successful interior designer, loving wife, nice house in the suburbs, the whole package. But watching my husband's face as he walked through the door that evening, I realized how much of that perfect life was just carefully arranged window dressing. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice casual. "How was your day?" Sam loosened his tie, that familiar crease between his eyebrows deeper than usual. "Fine. Just another day at the office." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Nothing interesting happened today?" His shoulders tensed. "What do you mean?" "Sam," I said softly, "I saw the email. I'm so sorry about the promotion." The change was instant. His face hardened, and something ugly flashed across his features. "You went through my emails?" "No, I was just using your laptop to print." "So you were snooping," he cut me off, his voice sharp enough to make me flinch. "Couldn't wait to see if your successful husband finally failed at something?" I stepped back, stunned. "That's not fair. I was worried about you." He laughed, but it wasn't the warm sound I was used to. "Worried? Please. You're probably thrilled. Now you can add this to your list of achievements: breadwinner wife, failing husband. Where is this coming from?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I've always supported you." "Supported me?" He paced the kitchen, running his hands through his hair. "Do you know what it's like having to hear about your wife's latest success at every office party?" "Oh, Sam, I saw Alara's design in Modern Living. She's so talented. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the same position I've been in for 5 years." "That's not my fault," I said, anger finally seeping into my voice. "I've worked hard for everything I've achieved." "And I haven't?" He grabbed his keys from the counter. "I need some air." "Sam, wait. Don't." He held up his hand. "Just don't." The front door slammed behind him, leaving me alone in our suddenly too quiet house. My phone buzzed, a text from Owen, my boss, about an exciting new project opportunity. Usually, this would have me jumping with joy, but now it felt like another crack in my marriage's foundation. I walked to our living room, looking at the space I'd so carefully designed. The modern art piece Sam had called pretentious. The expensive couch he said we couldn't afford. The awards on my desk that he used to celebrate with me, but now barely acknowledged. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a notification from Sam's Instagram. He'd just checked in at the Copper Room, a bar near his office. In the photo's background, I could see a woman in a red dress, her hand on someone's arm. The caption read, "Sometimes you need friends who understand." I zoomed in on the photo, my hands shaking. The woman was Fiona Blake, Sam's colleague who'd been showing up in more and more of his stories lately. Always with a sympathetic smile, always standing just a little too close. That's when I realized the promotion wasn't really what this was about. And maybe, just maybe, my perfect marriage wasn't so perfect after all. I picked up my phone and texted Lydia, "Can you come over? I need to talk." Because something told me this was just the beginning of a storm that had been brewing for longer than I'd wanted to admit. Lydia arrived within 30 minutes, wine bottle in hand. She took one look at my face and pulled me into a hug before I could even speak. That's when the tears finally came. "I can't believe he's still not home," I said, checking my phone for the 100th time. The Instagram post from the Copper Room now showed 3 more photos, all with Fiona featured prominently. Her red dress a splash of warning across my screen. "Men can be such idiots when their ego gets bruised," Lydia said, pouring us each a generous glass. "But this feels different." Sam's never been the type to throw a public tantrum. "He's changed," I admitted, the words tasting bitter. "Ever since I landed the Peterson account last month, it's like he can barely look at me. Yesterday, he didn't even come to bed. Said he had work to catch up on." "At midnight?" I shrugged, but my stomach churned. "He's been staying late at the office a lot lately." "With Fiona?" Lydia's voice was careful, measured. They're just colleagues, I said automatically, but even I could hear the doubt in my voice. She's been helping him with some project. Honey, Lydia set down her glass. When was the last time you two actually talked? I mean really talked, not just about schedules or bills. The question hit harder than I expected. I thought back to our last real conversation, but everything blurred into a series of tense silences and clipped responses. I don't know. My phone buzzed. Owen again. The text read, "Big news about the Milan project. Need to discuss ASAP. Coffee tomorrow." What's that about? Lydia asked, noticing my frown. Owen's been hinting about this huge renovation project in Milan. It could be career-changing, but I trailed off, the unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. But Sam would hate it, Lydia finished. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Sam stumbled in, his tie loose and eyes glazed. The smell of whiskey followed him. "Oh, we have company," he said, his words slightly slurred. "Having a nice girls' night? Talking about your successful careers?" Lydia stood up, gathering her things. "I should go." "No, stay." Sam's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Tell me, Lydia, does your husband feel like a failure too? Or is that just me?" Sam, I warned, but he was already pulling out his phone. "Look at this." He thrust the screen at me. It showed an email thread between him and Fiona. "At least someone at work appreciates me. Fiona says I deserved that promotion. She says lots of nice things, actually." My hands shook as I read the messages. They were friendly enough on the surface, but there was an intimacy to them that made my chest tight. Late-night conversations about feeling undervalued, inside jokes I wasn't part of, subtle compliments that went beyond professional courtesy. "I'm going to bed," I said, standing up. "We can talk about this when you're sober." "There's nothing to talk about," he called after me. "You've got your big career. What do you need me for anyway?" I heard Lydia leaving, heard Sam fumbling in the kitchen, probably looking for more alcohol. But I just sat on our bed, staring at Owen's text about Milan. My phone lit up with a new notification. Fiona had tagged Sam in another photo from tonight. The caption read, "Sometimes the right person comes along at the wrong time." I clicked on her profile, scrolling through months of photos. There were dozens with Sam, each one showing a gradual shift in their body language, their smiles, their closeness. How had I missed this? The last thing I saw before turning off my phone was a message from Owen. "This opportunity won't wait forever, Alara. Time to decide what you really want." I lay down, fully clothed, on what used to be our bed. Tomorrow, I'd have to make a choice, fight for a marriage that might already be broken, or take a chance on a future that terrified and thrilled me in equal measure. Downstairs, I heard Sam's phone chime with another message. I didn't need to check to know who it was from. The coffee with Owen turned into something I never expected. Sitting across from him at our usual cafe, I couldn't focus on his excited description of the Milan project. Instead, my phone kept buzzing with notifications from my bank's fraud alert system. "Alara? Are you listening?" Owen's voice snapped me back to attention. "Sorry, it's just..." I showed him my phone screen. "Someone's been making large withdrawals from our joint account. 3 transactions in the past hour." Owen's expression shifted from enthusiasm to concern. "Sam?" I nodded, my hands shaking as I pulled up our account details. $5,000. Gone. Then another 3,000. And another 4,000. "I need to go," I said, gathering my things. "Can we discuss Milan tomorrow?" "Of course." "But Alara..." Owen hesitated. "Sometimes the universe has a way of forcing our hand." I barely heard him. My mind was racing as I drove to Sam's office, rehearsing what I'd say. But when I walked through the glass doors of the government building, I wasn't prepared for what I found. Sam's office was empty. Not just empty, cleared out. His nameplate was gone, his desk bare except for a small cardboard box. "Can I help you?" A woman's voice behind me. I turned to find Fiona, wearing that same red dress from the photos. "Where's Sam?" Her smile was perfectly practiced. "He didn't tell you?" "He resigned this morning." Something about a fresh start. The room tilted slightly. "He what?" "It's probably for the best," Fiona continued, her voice dripping with false sympathy. After losing the promotion and with everything else. Everything else? She touched my arm, and it took everything in me not to flinch. Oh, I assumed you knew. About us. The world stopped for a moment. Us. It started as just talks over coffee, Fiona said, dropping her voice. He was so lost, so overshadowed by your success. He needed someone who could understand, who could make him feel like a man again. Each word was a carefully placed knife. I stepped back, my heel catching on the carpet. Where is he now? He mentioned something about the airport. Her smile widened slightly. I think he needed some time to think. I ran. Through the office, down the stairs, barely registering the concerned looks from other employees. In my car, I pulled up our credit card statements. There it was, a first-class ticket to Vancouver. One way. My phone rang. Sam's face appeared on the screen. Don't bother coming home. His voice was cold, distant. I've taken what I need. You can have the rest. It's probably all paid for with your money anyway. Sam, what are you doing? We can talk about this. Talk? He laughed bitterly. Like you talked to me about Milan? I saw the contract on your desk this morning. You were going to take it without even discussing it with me. I haven't signed anything. It doesn't matter anymore. Fiona and I have plans. She believes in me, supports me. She doesn't make me feel small. By stealing our savings? By having an affair. My voice cracked. That makes you feel big? Silence. Then, I deserve better than living in your shadow. The line went dead. I sat in my car, staring at nothing, until my phone buzzed again. A new Instagram post from Fiona. A picture of her hand holding a plane ticket, matching wedding bands visible in the corner. The caption read, "Sometimes the biggest risks bring the greatest rewards." I drove home in a daze, only to find half our closet empty and his wedding ring on the dresser. But what broke me wasn't the missing clothes or the ring. It was finding his laptop open on the bed, displaying emails between him and Fiona dating back months. Plans, promises, secret meetings. A whole hidden life while I worked late trying to build our future. My phone buzzed one final time. Owen, Milan contract needs an answer by tomorrow. Your choice. I looked around our bedroom, now just my bedroom, and felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about a failing marriage anymore. This was about justice, about consequences. I picked up my phone and typed, "I'll take it." When do I start? 3 days after Sam left, I found myself sitting in Owen's office, staring at the Milan contract. The opportunity was everything I'd dreamed of. A complete renovation of a historic palazzo, unlimited budget, complete creative control. But something else caught my eye, a familiar name in the investor list. Blake Industries, I said, looking up at Owen. Any relation to Fiona Blake? Owen shifted uncomfortably. Her father's company. They're the primary investors. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. How long have you known? Alara. Owen leaned forward. Sometimes business and personal lives intersect in ways we can't control. Did Sam know? When he was with her, did he know about this project? Before Owen could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Check your email. You deserve to know the truth. F.B. My hands shook as I opened my inbox. There it was, dozens of forwarded emails between Sam and Fiona, dating back months before his failed promotion. They'd been planning this, Sam feeding her information about government contracts, Fiona promising him a position in her father's company. My success wasn't just wounding his ego, it was threatening their scheme. I need air, I muttered, standing up so quickly my chair toppled over. The contract deadline is tomorrow, Owen called after me. We need your answer. I drove to our house, my house now, and found Lydia waiting on the porch. I brought wine and takeout, she said, but stopped when she saw my face. What happened? Inside, I showed her the emails. It wasn't just an affair, I said, my voice hollow. It was a business plan. They needed inside information about the city's development projects and Sam. That son of a bitch, Lydia whispered, scrolling through the messages. Have you called a lawyer? Not yet. I've been too busy trying to figure out how I missed all the signs. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Fiona. Sam never loved you. But he did love what your success could do for him. For us. Sorry it had to end this way. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. You know what's funny? The Milan project, it's backed by her family's company. If I take it, I'll essentially be working for the woman my husband left me for. Or, Lydia said slowly, you'll be in the perfect position to expose their little scheme. I looked at her. What do you mean? Think about it. Sam and Fiona used your success to set up their plan. Why not use their own project to bring them down? My phone rang, Owen again. Alara, I need your answer about Milan. And there's something else you should know. The government contracts Sam was handling. There are irregularities. The ethics committee is launching an investigation. I thought about Sam and Fiona, probably laughing in Vancouver, thinking they'd played me perfectly. I thought about the years I dimmed my own light to protect his ego. I thought about justice and revenge and how sometimes they're the same thing. Owen, I said, my voice steady for the first time in days, I'll take the project. But I have one condition. Name it. I want complete access to all financial records and communications related to Blake Industries' involvement. Every email, every meeting minute, every transaction. There was a long pause. You know what you're asking for? Yes, I said, watching the sunset paint our living room walls blood red. I know exactly what I'm asking for. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and began typing, Dear Mr. Blake, I'm honored to accept the position as lead designer for the Milan Palazzo renovation. I look forward to working closely with your company to ensure complete transparency throughout this project. Lydia read over my shoulder. You're really doing this? I thought about Sam's words. I deserve better than living in your shadow. Maybe he was right, but not in the way he meant. Yes, I said, hitting send. It's time to step into the light. The ethics committee didn't waste any time. 2 weeks after I signed the Milan contract, they called me in for questioning. I sat in a sterile conference room, watching the investigator flip through a stack of documents. Mrs. Mitchell, or should I say Miss Mitchell now? She glanced at her notes. We're particularly interested in these emails between your husband and Fiona Blake. Ex-husband, I corrected automatically. And I only discovered those emails after he left. Convenient timing, she said, her pen tapping against the table. Right before you accepted the Blake Industries project. My stomach dropped. What are you implying? Some might see it as suspicious, you taking a position with the very company your husband allegedly shared confidential information with. Almost like a coordinated effort. The room suddenly felt too small. Through the glass walls, I could see Owen pacing in the hallway, running his hands through his hair. I had nothing to do with their scheme, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. And yet you're now positioned to benefit from it. My phone buzzed, another message from Sam. They'd been coming more frequently lately, each one more desperate than the last. This one read, they're investigating me. You have to help. Tell them you knew about the development plans all along. I switched off my phone. Miss Mitchell. The investigator leaned forward. Is there something you'd like to share? Actually, yes. I pulled out my laptop. I've been gathering documentation since I started the Milan project. Every irregular transaction, every suspicious meeting between Blake Industries and the government office, including ones that happened before Sam and Fiona's relationship began. Her eyebrows rose. You've been conducting your own investigation? Let's just say I had motivation to look closely at their operation. Later, in Owen's office, he poured us both a drink. You're playing a dangerous game, Alara. Blake Industries isn't just some small-time operation. Neither am I said, but my hands shook as I took the glass. My phone lit up with a text from Lydia. Turn on the news. Now. Owen flipped on the office TV. There was Sam, standing outside the Vancouver courthouse, Fiona notably absent. The headline scrolled beneath, Former Deputy Director faces corruption charges. I trusted the wrong people, Sam was saying, his voice breaking. I let my personal feelings cloud my judgment. But I wasn't the mastermind. Fiona Blake and her father. The feed cut off abruptly. My phone rang, a Vancouver number. Sam. Don't, Owen warned, but I answered anyway. Alara, please, Sam's voice was desperate. Fiona's gone. She took everything, the money, the evidence, everything. Her father's claiming he knew nothing about it. I'm going to lose everything. You already lost everything, I said quietly. The day you decided I wasn't enough. I was wrong. I see that now. But they're going to pin this all on me unless. Unless what, Sam? Unless I help you pin it on someone else. Silence. Then, you're really going through with this Milan project? Yes. Even knowing what they'll do to me? I thought about all the nights I'd dimmed my light for him, all the achievements I'd downplayed to protect his ego. You did this to yourself. Then I hope you can live with what happens next. The line went dead. Minutes later, my email pinged. A message from Blake Industries' board of directors, requesting an urgent meeting about the Milan project. Owen read over my shoulder. What are you going to do? I looked at the TV, still showing Sam's face, now with a new headline. Breaking. Blake Industries announces major restructuring. I'm going to Milan, I said, standing up. And I'm going to finish what they started. Even if it means destroying them? I thought about Sam's words. I hope you can live with what happens next. Especially if it means destroying them. The truth was, I'd already lost everything that mattered. Now it was just a question of who would be left standing when the dust settled. Milan in December wasn't the romantic escape I'd imagined. Instead of finding peace, I found myself drowning in Blake Industries' web of lies. Every document I uncovered revealed another layer of corruption, each one leading back to Fiona and her father, and Sam. The palazzo renovation was just a front. The real money was flowing through shell companies, hidden in plain sight within the project's inflated budgets. My phone lit up with a message from Owen, turn on CNN. There she was, Fiona Blake, standing outside her father's corporate headquarters in London. I want to thank the Ethics Committee for their thorough investigation, she was saying. And I especially want to thank Alara Mitchell, whose work on the Milan project helped expose these irregularities. My coffee cup slipped from my hand, shattering on the marble floor of my temporary apartment. As of today, I am officially cooperating with authorities, Fiona continued. The evidence will show that Sam Reynolds acted alone, using his position and his relationship with me to orchestrate this scheme. Another message from Owen. She's throwing you under the bus too. Check your email. The board's message was brief. Due to concerns about potential involvement in the ongoing investigation, your contract is suspended pending review. My phone rang, Sam's lawyer. They're saying you knew, he said without preamble. That you helped Sam access the confidential files, used your position with Blake Industries to cover the trail. That's ridiculous. They have emails, Alara. From your account to Sam's, discussing development plans months before they were public. My blood ran cold. I never sent any. They look real. Very real. After hanging up, I stood at my window, watching Milan's Christmas lights twinkle mockingly. My phone buzzed again, an unknown number. Hello, Alara. Fiona's voice was silk smooth. I hope you're enjoying Italy. How did you do it? Do what? Expose the truth? Or set you up to take the fall? She laughed softly. You know, Sam told me you were smart. Said you'd figure out our plan eventually. But he never thought you'd try to use it against us. Where is he? Oh, somewhere safe. Unlike you. She paused. You should have stayed in your lane, Alara. Stuck to picking paint colors and fabric samples. Now you're going to lose everything. Your career, your reputation, maybe even your freedom. My laptop pinged. Another email from Blake Industries board. My access to all project files had been revoked. In the Palazzo group chat, my team members were already distancing themselves, their messages professional but cold. Then came the final blow, a video link from Lydia. It showed Sam at a press conference, looking haunted but determined. I need to set the record straight, he was saying. My ex-wife, Alara Mitchell, wasn't just aware of these transactions. She orchestrated them. Her success in the design world was built on insider trading and corrupt deals. I was blind to it because I loved her. The room spun. I grabbed the windowsill for support, watching my reflection in the glass, a woman I barely recognized anymore. My phone buzzed one last time. Owen, FBI wants to question you. Don't say anything until I get there. I'm on my way to Milan. Outside, photographers were already gathering below my building. Someone had leaked my address. I opened my laptop to transfer money from my accounts, but they were frozen. Every credit card declined. Even my return flight reservation had been canceled. In the bathroom mirror, I finally let myself cry. Not for Sam's betrayal or Fiona's manipulation, but for my own naivety. I'd thought I was playing their game, but they'd been playing me all along. A final message flashed on my phone from Sam's personal number. "I'm sorry it had to be this way, but you forced our hand. Some battles aren't worth fighting." I looked around my beautiful Milan apartment, paid for by Blake Industries, wondering how many hours I had left here. How many hours before everything I'd built came crashing down? Then I noticed something odd about Sam's message. A small detail that didn't fit. And for the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope. Because Sam had finally made a mistake. And maybe, just maybe, it would be enough to bring them all down. Sam's message contained something only I would notice, a reference to our first date at Bella's, spelled with one L instead of two. It was our private joke, our secret code. He was trying to tell me something. I met him at midnight in a small cafe near Milan's Navigli district, my laptop and phone both left behind. The place was empty except for an old man reading a newspaper and a barista wiping down tables. "You look terrible," I said, sliding into the seat across from him. Dark circles under his eyes, expensive suit wrinkled. This wasn't the polished Sam from the press conference. "They're watching everything," he whispered. "Phones, emails, bank accounts. Fiona's father. He's not just a businessman, Alara. The corruption goes deeper than we thought." I laughed bitterly. "There is no we, Sam. You made sure of that." His hands shook as he pushed a USB drive across the table. "I made copies before Fiona could delete everything. The real transactions, the shell companies, the bribes. It's all here. Why should I trust you? Because I'm dead if you don't." He glanced at the door. "Fiona never loved me. I was just convenient. Someone they could manipulate, then destroy. But you." He swallowed hard. "You were always stronger than me. That's why I resented you so much." The barista's phone rang, making us both jump. "Why now?" I asked. "Why help me after everything you've done?" "Because." The cafe door chimed. Fiona walked in, elegant as ever in a red coat that matched her lipstick. "How predictable," she said, sliding into the seat next to Sam. The desperate husband reaches out to his wronged wife. Very romantic. Two men in dark suits appeared at the door. The USB, Fiona held out her hand. "Now." I reached for it, but Sam's foot pressed against mine under the table, our old signal for trust me. "It's fake," Sam said quietly. "The real evidence is already with Interpol." Fiona's smile faltered. "You're bluffing." "Check your phone," I said. She pulled it out, her face paling as she read. "That's impossible. All the accounts were secure. Except the one you used to frame me," I said. "The one you accessed using Sam's old laptop, the one I'd used for work. The one that still had my security software installed." The old man with the newspaper stood up, revealing an Interpol badge. The barista pulled out handcuffs. "You really should have checked those emails more carefully," Sam said. "The ones you forged from Alara?" The metadata showed they were created 3 days after I left for Vancouver, when Alara was already in Milan. Fiona lunged for the door, but the agents were faster. As they led her away, she turned to Sam. "They'll still think you were involved. You'll lose everything." "I already lost everything," he said, looking at me. The moment I forgot what mattered. Later, outside the cafe, Sam handed me another USB drive. "The real one," he said. "Everything they did, everything I helped them do. Use it however you want. Why didn't you just tell me the truth from the beginning?" They were watching too closely. I had to make them think they'd won. He stepped back. "I don't expect forgiveness, Alara. But I couldn't let them destroy you too. What will you do now?" "Testify. Face the consequences." He smiled sadly. "Maybe finally learn to stand in someone else's light without feeling shadows." I watched him walk away, the USB drive heavy in my pocket. My phone buzzed. Owen, with news that Blake Industries was facing a major investigation. The Milan project would continue, but under new ownership. The night air was cold, but for the first time in months, I felt warm. Not because of victory or revenge, but because I finally understood sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go. I turned toward home, my real home, not the borrowed luxury of a corrupt company, ready to build something new. Something entirely my own. 1 year later, I stood in the completed palazzo, now a boutique hotel that bore little resemblance to Blake Industries' original plans. The morning light streamed through restored Renaissance windows, casting patterns across the marble floors I'd chosen. My first solo project, built on truth instead of lies. "It's beautiful," Lydia said, running her hand along a wall I'd insisted on stripping back to its original stone. "You did it, Alara. All by yourself." Not quite by myself. The package that had arrived at my office last week proved that. Inside was a letter from Sam, written the night before everything fell apart, before Fiona, before the corruption scandal, before he chose pride over love. "I see your light," he'd written, "and it terrifies me. Not because it dims mine, but because it shows me who I really am. I hope someday I learn to be worthy of standing in it." The letter came with divorce papers already signed and documents transferring his share of our house entirely to me. My phone buzzed. "Owen, with news about the hotel's opening night. The guest list is full," he said, "including some interesting names." Sam? No, but his testimony helped bring down half the corrupt officials in the city. He's doing well in the witness protection program, from what I hear. I walked to the hotel's rooftop garden, my favorite space in the whole building. The herbs I'd planted were thriving, their scent mixing with the morning air. "Speaking of fresh starts," Lydia followed me up, "have you met the new owner yet? I hear he's single." I laughed, thinking of the dating apps she'd tried to get me to join. "I'm not ready." "You mean you're scared?" "No," I said, surprising myself with how true it felt. "I'm just content." A movement caught my eye, a dog wandering through the garden, no collar, but well-fed. He approached cautiously, tail wagging. "Hey there," I knelt down. "Are you lost?" He pressed his head against my hand, and something in my chest loosened. The shelter had called yesterday about a rescue needing a home. Maybe it wasn't just the dog who needed rescuing. "What will you call him?" Lydia asked as the dog settled at my feet. "Chance," I said, and he looked up as if he already knew his name. My phone buzzed again, an email from a journalist wanting to interview me about surviving betrayal and building success. I deleted it without responding. Some stories don't need to be told, they need to be lived. The morning crowd was gathering below, Milan coming alive with possibilities. Soon the hotel would open, carrying my name instead of Blake Industries. Soon I'd start new projects, meet new people, face new challenges. But for now, I sat in my rooftop garden with my best friend and a dog who'd chosen me, watching the sun rise over a city that had taught me the difference between revenge and justice, between letting go and moving on. The last piece of Sam's letter had said, "I hope you find someone who knows how to love your light without trying to dim it." I'm sorry I couldn't be that person. I folded the letter away, not in anger or pain, but with gratitude. Sometimes the greatest gift someone can give you is showing you who you are without them. Chance nudged my hand, ready to explore his new home. Below, the hotel staff was arriving, the day beginning, life moving forward. "Ready?" Lydia asked, but she wasn't just talking about heading downstairs. I looked at my reflection in the garden's small fountain, a woman I finally recognized, standing in her own light. "Yes," I said. "I think I am." We walked down together, Chance trotting beside us, into whatever came next. The future wasn't certain, but then again, it never is. The only certainty was that this time, I'd face it on my own terms, in my own way, in my own light. And that was more than enough.